Quentin Tarantino breaks his silence on his next film, The Movie Critic. Martin Scorsese's next film, Killers of the Flower Moon, is premiering at Cannes. And Disney Marvel has more drama than good news. Hello, movie friends. Welcome back to Raiders of the Lost Podcast, the ultimate film and TV podcast. We have a bit of news for the show tomorrow. Monday's episode is going to be postponed to Tuesday. We have something special that we're doing with the studio on Monday, so we want to make sure there's an exclusivity for that content. So Tuesday, Monday's episode is moved to there, but don't worry, it's going to be awesome and epic. It's going to be movies from memory, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
It was a mess.
It's going to be
really funny.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
And then we're also doing a giveaway with Paramount in Dungeons and Dragons on our Instagram. All you got to do is comment on that giveaway and you get entered into a contest to win a pretty awesome package. So check that out.
Now let's get into the box office. Dungeons and Dragons finally premiered and had a very good opening weekend with 40 million domestically. It's about tracking for what they were looking for. It's a medium-sized box office studio hit.
I think they wanted 100 million.
I don't think for the first one in the franchise, this is very good. This is solid.
Yeah.
So I think that for a fan base that isn't that huge, and for it to be a property that not many people are fans of or really generally aware of, I think it's a good success for the studio. It's not the biggest budget. It was what, $100 million budget?
$150 million budget.
So not massive. It's going to do really well overseas. So I see this as an absolute success for Dungeons & Dragons.
I wouldn't say an absolute success. I mean, it's a $150 million budget. If it starts to drop, I mean, they're competing with John Wick over here, so I'm not going to pretend like it's a huge hit. It's a good number.
Don't pretend, bro.
It's a good number. I mean, you said it's a massive...
I said it's an absolute success, I would say.
We'll see if it doesn't drop. I mean, I think that word of mouth is going to be really good for this movie, but again, it's competing with John Wick right now in theaters, which is still killing. So I hope it does well. I hope it makes its money back and is a profitable film because I had a lot of fun with it, and I know a lot of you will enjoy the heck out of it.
I would say that it can make 300 to 400, no problem. I would say.
I mean, not with
internationally.
That, if it has good word of mouth.
Globally, I think it'll do really well overseas.
Woo, we'll see, bro.
So.
We'll see.
300
to 400. Now I don't know with that opening.
They got a distance to run.
That's what I mean. You're like it's a biggest hit of the year. You sound
like Maverick who?
You're like you're sold. It like made like $1 billion already. Like listen to yourself.
I'm just so excited.
It's very good for a movie with no IP for a movie yet. Really, but
except for like they made it in like 2001.
Did they?
With Jeremy Irons. It looks terrible.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see if it's got legs. We'll see if it's got legs. We also had second place John Wick, again, competing with this. Another $28 million to add to its massive box office. His Only Son made $5.5 million. Creed 3 still throwing those punches, $5.6 million. And then Scream 6 in fifth place at $5.2 million.
And John Wick is closing in on $200 million globally. So big success. It's looking like it'll probably earn around $500 million when it tops out globally around the world.
We'll see. Yeah. So is it $200 million globally
right now? Yeah.
And you think it's going to make $500 million?
Maybe 400.
Your analytics are all over the place. How is it going to make $500 million if it's topping out at?
Well, it hasn't opened in some territories.
Jeez, Anthony, you were like all over the place.
I think I'm getting a little exaggerated.
You're a little bit ahead of yourself. It made $40 million. It's opening weekend. Oh, it's easily going to clear $1 billion.
$2 billion.
Like, what are you
Avatar
talking
2
about?
Numbers.
You're high, bro.
Avatar 2.
What'd you smoke this morning?
Yeah, well, I suppose if you look at all the John Wick movies, they're successful, but they were never like monster successes. So, but for rated R, that's really good.
Yeah, it is really good.
R,
I'm not going to say it's going to make $500 million.
I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
I think you are.
I'm like so encouraging to the studios right now.
Don't worry, everybody. I'm putting Anthony into place. I'm putting him in check, bringing his perspective back to normal, back to earth. He's just in cloud nine. Are you working? It sounds like you're working for the studios. Huge hit. Jeez Louise. Let's get into the news before Anthony starts giving us bad ranges for movie successes.
I'm usually pretty spot on.
That's an absolute hit. It made $2 million opening weekend. Huge success. Well, it hasn't opened in Bangladesh yet, so just wait. Moving on to Quentin Tarantino news. He has finally broken his silence on his rumored next and final film, The Movie Critic. He has confirmed that is the title of the film, but he's also confirmed that it's not about film critic Pauline Kael, which was a rumor going around. And he says after this film, it's going to be the end. He's going to give up on movies or just throw in the towel on movies is what he said, and then just do TV shows, books, and other projects.
I'm guessing that he broke this out because of all the news coming out about the film the last few weeks. So I think he wanted to clear up. It's not about this person. It is the title of the film, but I think he wanted to be like, nobody knows what this is about yet. Like nobody has any idea. All the news outlets ran with this. We even ran with it irresponsibly.
Well, we said no. We said it was a rumor. We didn't say it was confirmed. We always say it's not confirmed.
Yeah, that's true. So
Jeez, man, you are like.
I think he wanted to clear it up, clear the air of like nobody's really reporting anything accurate about the film except for the title.
What do you mean? He did leak it.
Yeah,
he's the person who knows the title of the movie. So there's a reason why it came out recently.
Mm-hmm. That's true. It's true.
Even
though he says he's not going to make another film again, I guess he'll stick to that as long as he keeps doing miniseries like every few years. So that is a loophole around that.
Yeah, I mean, and also he's just explained that he wants to go out as being a film director at the top of his game, which I don't hate. I mean, 10 movies is a lot of movies for a filmmaker to make, and I'm curious what this one's going to be about.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, don't you think like he'll like in 10 years he'll have an idea for a movie and like when do you want to make it?
Seems like he'll make it into a TV show.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess. But I mean, Scorsese apparently just made one of his best films ever, and he's made like 45 movies. So.
I think that the next bit of news is proof that it might be a very special film in Scorsese's filmography because the Killers of the Flower Moon is going to get its premiere at 2023 Cannes Film Festival. Now, this is really big news because the last time Scorsese had a feature film in competition at Cannes. He's had documentaries and concerts in competition more recently, but he hasn't had a movie in competition since After Hours in 1986, where he won Best Director for that film. And he's also had Taxi Driver, obviously, back in 1976, and The King of Comedy in 1983. So those are the three most recent features he's directed that have been in competition at Cannes, as well as Who's Knocking at My Door. Was that what was called? Or
yeah, Who's That Knocking at My Door?
Who's That Knocking at My Door? That was in competition before
that was
Taxi
before
Driver.
Mean Streets. Mean Streets. Those were Mean Streets.
So I think this is huge news, meaning that he knows it's going to be a very special movie. I think everyone knows that he could probably win Best Director, maybe win Palme d'Or with this film, and I just think it's going to prove that Scorsese is still one of the best, if not the best directors out there, and I think this is really terrific news for this film.
Also, do you remember who won Cannes last year?
Last year was for Best Director or Best Picture?
Park Chan-wook, baby.
That's right.
Yeah, I always
for the Decision to Leave.
Yeah, he won with Decision to Leave. So I'm really looking forward to this because Scorsese. I mean, obviously everybody knows he's my favorite, but this story is really fascinating. It's based on a true story. Killers of the Flower Moon is a book you can buy if you want to know what the story is. It's stranger than fiction. Also, DiCaprio came out, said it was a masterpiece, and he hasn't really said that about, I think, any of his films. And then the runtime is actually almost 4 hours long.
Everyone's making a huge deal about it again.
But dude, I mean, if it's great, it's like doesn't matter how long it is. I mean, Avengers Endgame was 3:30, right? 3 hours 30 minutes, something like that.
True.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how long the movie is, but it's a very complex story. It takes place over several years, and it's a lot of characters that are integral to what happened. So I'm happy to hear that they're taking the time to really have the breadth of storytelling and the narrative structure of really getting to put everything they can into it rather than condensing it down to 2 hours.
I'm very excited. I cannot wait.
I can't wait. And it's also been confirmed it's going to be coming out October 3rd. So an October release. So actually only a few months away.
Check out Scorsese winning Best Director this year at the Oscars too.
It's going to be a highly competitive Oscar season this year.
Yeah.
Very competitive.
How about you take off the next bit of news, Anthony?
Some Wes Anderson news. He finally revealed the trailer for Asteroid City, which has, to no surprise, an eclectic and stacked cast. However, what's really cool about this and what separates it from anything that he's ever done before is it's science fiction. He's doing aliens. So it's about aliens landing in a remote desert town and the investigation that ensues and the cast of characters. I can't wait. It looks like it's his version of Close Encounters in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so they didn't reveal the aliens, but they revealed a shot of the spaceship and they revealed a shot of scientists investigating grounds of where probably an asteroid struck. I am sure they're saving the aliens for the movie. but I can't wait to see what do Wes Anderson aliens look like.
Will it just be something silly?
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta be like something like non-threatening looking, maybe, and just silly looking. They're wearing, I don't know, like polos or something.
It's such a Wes Anderson looking movie, man. I love it. It looks awesome. I can't wait because we all know The French Dispatch was so well made, but I think that that had a weakness where there's too many stories going on. But I think Wes operates best with just a singular storyline, and I'm really excited about this film.
Oh, for sure, and it's got an amazing cast. I mean, Steve Carell is in it. He's never worked with Wes.
Yeah, the cast is insane.
Yeah.
ScarJo's in it. Has she ever been in a Wes movie?
She's never been in a Wes Anderson movie.
She seems to be one of the leads.
Yeah, it looks like Schwartzman and her are the two co-leads.
Tom Hanks. I don't think he's ever been in a Wes Anderson movie.
Never.
He was replacing Bill Murray with another old actor.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. He was like, oh yeah, he got the Bill Murray role.
He even looks like Bill Murray in it.
So Tom, could you just be like Bill?
All right, we got some more really cool news. So Scott Pilgrim vs. the World obviously is a cult classic because it didn't do very well in theaters. It was a bomb, but it's so loved by fans and anime lovers, and it's just a terrific action film. Edgar Wright made it. Netflix is making a feature anime movie of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and the entire original cast is pretty much returning. Everyone's coming back.
Yeah, everybody's voicing their characters. There's no release date on this, but Edgar Wright posted that it's coming soon on his Instagram, and he did confirm that every cast member from the film is voicing their character in the show.
Really? Is it going to be a series or a movie?
Series.
Oh,
yeah,
that
anime
is pretty
series.
cool.
Yeah, and they don't have a release date yet, but keep it. I'm sure they'll announce it sometime in the next few months, trying to figure that out exactly. He just said coming soon. Next up, Gwyneth Paltrow won her trial. So the ski crash trial, the jury awarded her a $1 reward for winning the trial lawsuit. The actress and wellness guru was found not liable in the contentious ransom lawsuit brought by Dr. Terry Sanderson after being pounded like a punching bag during the trial. She also won her countersuit for a symbolic $1.
Man, that's just a silly trial because there's always every year there's a wild Hollywood trial, but this one's just so silly and fun.
They should have awarded her a half day of skiing. 2 bowls of chicken broth to celebrate.
Wow, it's a big day. Don't want to overdo it, Anthony. All right, we got a bunch going on with Disney and Marvel, Star Wars, etc. Lots of good news, but also lots of drama. So starting off...
What's the tea, Jim?
Well, let's start off with something light and cool. So Fantastic Four has finally got a writer. They have tapped Josh Friedman to write the Fantastic Four script. He did Avatar 2 as well as, I believe, worked on the scripts for Avatar 3 and Avatar 4. And Avatar 4 specifically is the script that the studio was like, holy crap, this is crazy stuff. So it's exciting that they've got, seems like a really solid writer for Fantastic Four.
And I'm sure that Marvel, that's probably one of their most important things going on right now. They really want to get that right because...
They never have.
But also, Fantastic Four has always been integral to the Marvel storylines. So I think that going forward, it's going to be influential characters for all of the arcs around the next phase of the MCU. But I could be wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Who knows? And just to stay on Fantastic Four, so Jodie Comer, it's a huge rumor that she's going to be cast or is in rumors for being cast in Fantastic Four.
Oh, as Sue Storm?
Yeah, so that's just a viral internet rumor and casting. She revealed that she has not even been approached or talked about it or auditioned for a role for
That's
Fantastic
what they always
Four.
say. That's what they always say. They always deny. But also, did you see Mila Kunis?
No.
She was photographed having coffee with the director of Fantastic Four.
Oh.
Yeah, so it looked like they had a coffee meeting, maybe to discuss. I mean, what else would they be meeting about?
I saw a story the other day that Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher are not going to leave the $275 million fortune they have to their kids after they pass on. And I'm like, why not do it now? Why not do it now? What are you waiting for?
So, they're going to donate to charity. But also, when people say that, are they saying they're not going to spend another cent?
But also, it's not like their kids are going to be 50 by the time that happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's not like they're dying tomorrow.
I'm sure they're living fine.
They need to make something with their lives. So when they're 65 and I'm dead, they can't get anything. No more mooching off mom and dad. That's actually a great point.
It's a silly headline,
when
man.
people say that. Oh my God.
Why not just do it now? Just do it now.
Donate it all. Yeah.
You don't need it, do you?
Also, but I mean, when they say that, are they saying we're donating our entire fortune Are they just going to stop spending money for the next 60 years?
I don't think
I don't
so.
understand.
I don't think
Is it going to be that much money back when they're old?
Anyways,
I think about these things, whatever.
let's mix up and do some drama, and then we'll get into some other Disney news that's more light.
Drama.
So the Jonathan Majors situation has been wild. Lots going on. We don't know much besides the news that's come out. First off, we didn't have it in the last movie news episode because it dropped after we filmed and edited the episode.
Oh, that's right.
So
Yeah,
we weren't
didn't-
able to put it in the episode. Now, Jonathan Majors, first bit of news was that he was arrested and arraigned on assault charges. Apparently, it was said and rumored that he hit his girlfriend and strangled her, and then she called the cops. But then a few days later, it was rumored and revealed that he's the one that called the police because his girlfriend was unwell. And then recently, a couple days ago, his lawyer released text messages of kind of a little more context to the situation, and it sort of revealed that what the truth kind of was, but it also it still is ambiguous what happened. And also, the court of public opinion was not in his favor after the text messages were released. I would say that it was like 50-50.
Yeah.
The court of public opinion, because we don't want to lay judgment without all the facts. I mean, I have no idea what's really going on, but these text messages, the lawyer, it does not look like it went well for him.
Yeah, I mean, just from what I could gather, just from reading the text, it seems as though a physical altercation did happen, in that she just didn't want to press charges for it, and that she's upset that he got arrested for it. That's what the text seemed to imply. So it's not like the text proved that nothing happened, which is odd that they released them.
Because they're so ambiguous still, kind of. It didn't look good.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like it's definitive proof that nothing happened. You know what I mean?
Even if it did prove something, it's still the court of public opinion. They read that. Like, I was on Twitter and on Instagram looking at the comments and tweets. No one reacted well to it.
About the text?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It seemed like the wrong move right now, but I have no idea what's going on. No one does.
And they also said, they did say they have a video evidence, but why wouldn't they release the video evidence along with the text?
Maybe they're waiting, saving
I guess
it.
so. I mean, don't you want the evidence out as fast as possible to just put the fire out if it can put the fire out?
That's what I would do.
So I'm curious about why they're waiting on the video evidence to release it for so long, because they said it was definitive proof that nothing happened. So I'm curious. I mean,
this is huge news for Marvel and Disney going forward, because he is the central piece to the MCU going forward.
Yeah, it's absolutely it's just massive, because if you look at it in terms of like Thanos was involved in mainly just post-credit scenes the first few films. Like, he wasn't really involved in the story arcs.
Even if not post-credit scene, just verbally someone would say his name.
But right now, I mean, with the Loki series and then with Ant-Man 3, Kang has been heavily involved in the story arcs. So
the next Avengers movie is called The Kang's Dynasty.
Exactly.
Kang's Dynasty.
So it's not like, I don't know, it's not like they can just like it's not like they can just erase him right now. So they are committed to the character.
Well, I mean, they could recast him.
I suppose so, yeah.
Because that seems pretty easy to do, obviously, right now with
variants.
MCU.
Yeah. So I suppose I'm sure they're weighing that as an option, but I'm sure they're also waiting until real evidence comes out and everybody generally understands what exactly happened.
But if there is video evidence, why wouldn't that just be released?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why, if they said it was so definitive, why didn't the legal team release any of the video footage? Like, you would want to exonerate your client as soon as possible, especially in the court of public opinion, which I think if the longer things seed, the worse it is for someone in this situation. So you'd want to dampen that as quickly as you can.
Yeah, and I know the Army they dropped that ad that he was in.
He was in that ad.
That came out like a couple weeks ago for the NCAA tournament, and that's gone. They just dropped it, and they're making a new version.
I bet,
for the Final Four.
That makes sense, yeah. So yeah, I guess no one wants to touch him right now.
Crazy stuff. No one knows what's going on. I have no idea what happened. Just reading the same things that y'all are reading.
Just reporting what's available to us at the moment. But it's also important not to form opinions until all the evidence is out, I guess.
True. So. More drama at Disney and Marvel. Ike Perlmutter, who was the Marvel Entertainment chairman, also the guy responsible for selling Marvel to Disney in 2009, was fired alongside recently, obviously, with Victoria Alonso. Some other drama with Victoria Alonso recently. It was revealed that apparently she once said to a reporter named Chris Lee, who just leaked this, I don't know how recent she said it, but she said that Marvel directors don't deserve credit for the movies and that they don't direct the movies. Marvel directs the movies. So that's a bit of leaked drama that came out the other day too.
Wow, interesting.
I wonder if she wanted that to come out or not.
I'm guessing that since they axed her, maybe she wants to get some shots fired at them.
Seems like it,
because I don't think her career. Obviously, she's not in at Marvel anymore, but she's such a successful executive that I guarantee she's going to find a huge job somewhere pretty easily because of her track record, experience, and the success she had there. So I think that her career, she might be able to even flourish even more outside of Marvel.
Oh, probably. And I believe she still is guaranteed some executive producer credits for some upcoming films.
And I'm sure she has plenty of stock in Marvel and DC.
She did all right. She's doing all right.
But so I'm sure she has the confidence. I mean, if she did leak this to be like, you know what, I can throw some stuff at them. That's what I would do.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Now she's taking shots.
Yeah, so but there's been rumors about that. We've talked about this on this show, how Marvel, I think in some ways, did become a factory machine.
We never said that the directors don't direct them though, but that they're kind of.
But Marvel does do heavy previs before they get on set. They have cameras that are programmed to already perform the exact camera movements that they had planned in the computer system. So in a way, in some films, they became a factory machine. But then I think with the last couple of years, they've been giving directors more freedom to do their own kind of style of filmmaking, which they had to do. They really had to bring in artistic integrity and vision of each individual filmmaker into the films to give it some flair and differentiation between project and project.
It was getting stale.
Yeah.
I concur.
But yeah, that's really interesting. It's also interesting that the people involved, especially Ike Perlmutter, who helped facilitate that deal that ended up blowing up Marvel and making them the biggest studio, like so successful for a decade. Like these people are out. That's really crazy. Like the people that facilitated that deal, it's pretty wild and generated Disney so much money for so many years.
Well, recently it's just the stock's been plummeting and they've been losing so much money. Then Iger comes back and is just cleaning up shop, it seems like. But let's get into some nicer news that Disney and Marvel and MCU.
There's a lot of Marvel news today.
I know, quite a bit. A whole section for Disney. Jeremy Renner has an interview coming out on Disney Plus about his snowplow accident. He says he'd do it again. Again, he survived this extremely dangerous incident at the beginning of the year in an effort to rescue his nephew and neighbors, I believe. And he got crushed by his snowplow.
He was rescuing his nephew from the snowplow. And it ran him over instead.
Insane stuff. And so that interview, which it seems like it's going to be kind of like a 60-minute setup for Disney Plus, is going to be dropping pretty soon. Yeah, and I'm just happy to see that he's up, moving around. He's actually using one leg, and he has his other leg on. What are you? I don't know what you call it. It's like the wheel platform that you put your knee on if you have a foot injury. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He's walking around with that. So he seems to be, in terms of his torso and his the rest of his body, seems to be in pretty good shape where he can stand up, he can sit upright without any assistance. So it looks like he's gone a long way already in his recovery process.
I'm sure it's been an intense PT, physical therapy.
He's been doing nothing but PT all day, every day for who knows how long, maybe 6 or 7 months.
Plus a lot of surgeries.
Yeah, so good for him. I'm glad to see that he's up, moving around, and seems to be in really good spirits. We got our first look at Secret Invasion, the new Disney Plus Marvel series starring Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. They've removed his eye patch and made him a much more vulnerable version of the character. I don't know why. I thought this was going to be a film for the longest time. Yeah. So yeah, it's a TV series. Okay, and then Ben Mendelsohn will be returning, who we love. He's a great Australian actor. So we're looking forward to that. It seems to be an important step forward for Marvel, the Secret Invasion show. It's like the only show they haven't canceled. Yeah. But it'll be, when was the last time Sam was on TV? It's been a minute, bro. I can't even think of it. Like, has he, hit Sam Jackson on television? I don't know, man. Can't remember. Yeah, it's been a while. All right, next up, Disney news. Lilo and Stitch is moving forward, and it has cast newcomer Maya Keola as Lilo, alongside Zach Galifianakis, who would be playing, not Stitch, he's playing another character. Oh. I'm sorry. I thought he was Stitch. No, he's not Stitch. He's another character in the film. I thought they were going to paint him blue and make him be Stitch. I can't remember the name of the character Galifianakis is playing, but they actually have not cast Stitch yet. But there's rumors about who will voice Stitch, but they just haven't confirmed it yet. Final bit of news from Disney is in the Star Wars department. So it was last week that we revealed and it was announced that the Daniels had signed on to direct an episode of The Skeleton Crew, which is a series coming out very soon.
They've also tapped acclaimed filmmaker David Lowery to direct an episode of Skeleton Crew. This is huge news, and I think Iger knows what he's doing by, first off, hiring Stephen Knight to write the next Star Wars film, but also getting great directors and filmmakers to make episodes of TV, because I think that's one of the weaknesses for the Star Wars shows recently is they just haven't had great filmmakers, I would say, coming in to make these great stories, which you could do, and I think this is a really smart decision to get excellent filmmakers.
Also, David Lowery worked with Disney previously. He did Pete's Dragon, and it's a great kids film. It's a terrific film. I recommend it if you haven't seen it. Pete's Dragon. So excellent director, by the way. So
let's get out of Disney news, though.
Let's get to Warner Brothers.
Yeah, Warner Brothers. So Superman Legacy, there's been so many rumors surrounding it recently with castings and people thinking people are already in the casting process. Who are they going to do? And there's been rumors saying that they've already cast it or are in auditions right now. And James Gunn came out on Twitter was like, no, that hasn't happened at all. We haven't even started yet.
I doubt they're even done with the script yet because
there's no way it's done.
Yeah, I mean, they're still writing it, so give them time.
But you still got to cast it way before the script's done.
And what's also interesting is this Superman, whoever it will be younger. So it's going to be, I think, not teenage, but maybe
late 20s to early 30s.
Okay. So Cavill wasn't that much older than when he was cast as Kal-El. He must have been 30 or so.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess you want to go younger, especially if you're going to have them potentially star in films for you for up to 15 years. So definitely go with someone in their 20s, I would say.
There's been more execs dropping like flies in Hollywood this past couple of weeks. So Netflix has lost a couple of their executives. So Lisa Nishimura as well as Ian Brick have left Netflix during a film regrouping of the company, restructuring. Lisa oversaw many of their documentaries and docuseries and also was part of the platform's first Oscar win, which was for the short documentary The White Helmets. And Brick was a leader of their independent film department, so they basically scratched their execs of those two departments out.
Yeah, Brick they were producing films that were in the medium budget range, like $25 to $40 million budgets, and then so it's not like they had one person overseeing film production. They had different areas like medium budget, high budget,
high
budget, and so
extra medium budget.
So I think what Netflix is doing is they're trying to cut costs and spend less on feature films because they over the past few years the Dwayne Johnson Gal Gadot film Read Something. Remember that one?
Yeah.
With who's the other? Ryan Reynolds. That cost them, I think, $250 million.
The Gray Man cost them $250 million too.
The Gray Man cost $250 million. And there's another one that was over $200 million. And these just have not been performing well in terms of streaming numbers. So I believe that they might have gotten excited getting celebrities and just being like, oh, as long as we get Ryan Reynolds, people will watch it. You know what I mean? So it seems like they are probably cutting corners and not going to be producing films on that large of a scale before. And also, I think they've learned that celebrities do not guarantee success. Just because The Rock is probably the most successful actor, famous person alive in Hollywood, doesn't mean that everybody's going to watch their film. I think ultimately the quality of the film will determine that. So I'm guessing they're also not going to rely on having to pay celebrities $30 million contracts anymore.
But also, when you're making a $250 million movie and it's not being released in theaters, how are you making money off that? Subscriptions? Yeah. Is that your only game plan?
Yeah, exactly. So I suppose they're going to go a lower scale with their feature films.
Well, it's interesting because these people were running their lower scale production departments, docuseries, documentaries, and independent films.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we'll see. I don't know.
I think there's just a lot of restructuring going on in Hollywood, and even more.
Yes, IFC Films, which AMC owns, not AMC Theaters, but AMC, the TV channel. They had a film head named Ariana Bacco who has exited from the company. She stepped down as her post of head of IFC Films. They generally produce, purchase, and distribute independent films, smaller scale films. They've always had a great catalog and library of films they have. She ascended the post in December 2020 and spent a decade overseeing acquisitions and productions for IFC Films and its genre label, IFC Midnight. Scott Schumann, head of acquisitions, will serve in her stead for the interim. So lots of shakeups at so many studios the last couple weeks. Pretty crazy.
Safdie Brothers news. So we all know they're working on their next film with Adam Sandler, and it's rumored that Megan Thee Stallion is in talks to star alongside Adam in their next film.
Also, Ben Affleck is rumored to be in talks.
Whoa, that would be cool.
Yeah,
That would be
absolutely.
cool. Speaking of Ben Affleck, isn't Air coming out this week?
Air comes out April 3rd.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Super excited about that.
I can't wait to see that. We
tomorrow.
should see it this weekend.
We totally should, man.
Let's see it tonight, Sunday night. I mean,
Yes,
Sunday night.
absolutely.
Next up, Clint Eastwood, one of our favorite filmmakers and actors, has set his final film at Warner Brothers. It will be his 40th directed film and will be called Juror Number 2. The story is set to focus on a juror on a murder trial who realizes that he may be the murderer and struggles with the dilemma of turning himself in or manipulating the jury to get away with the crime. Sounds really cool. He hasn't really done much crime mystery in his career as a director.
It's not a bit.
Mystery?
Mystic River.
Oh, yeah. So that's actually a great one. But I mean, that's just an excellent example of his impact as a director on film. I mean, just in the 21st century, you have Mystic River, you have $1 Million Baby, like it's American Sniper, so many great films he's made just in the last 20 years. So he's a terrific director. If you aren't aware of his films behind the camera, definitely look into them. Unforgiven is another great one. But extremely talented human being and absolute force of Hollywood that will always stand the test of time and be remembered forever. I love the guy.
Is that my daughter, Sean? Francis Ford Coppola news. He has wrapped production on his self-financed epic Megalopolis just a few months after Hollywood came after him with those ridiculous production rumors. Remember that? And a log line for this
How
film.
you like me now?
He's like, I'm done, bitches. The fate of Rome haunts a modern world unable to solve its own social problems in this epic story of political ambition, genius, and dangerous love.
So this is I can't remember. It's set in a Rome that never fell apart. And it's like modern day contemporary Rome.
No idea.
I think that's what it is.
No idea.
If that's the case, that sounds really fucking cool.
That'd be pretty sick.
Like if Rome never fell and just continued on to the modern contemporary times.
Sounds very cool.
Damn, I am.
If that's what it's about.
Sign me up. Oh, sign me up either way, but it's cool.
Couple Taron Egerton news bits right here. So Tetris quietly just got released on Apple TV, and so quietly that like when I saw the headline, I'm like, oh, I forgot that movie was coming out.
Yeah,
this is the problem with not releasing your movies in theaters, man.
Yeah, it's getting great reviews and responses. A few people have actually reached out to us telling us to watch it. They highly recommend it. It's got great reviews.
I would have seen it in theaters.
Yeah, I would have loved to see it in theaters. It has a 7.4 on IMDb, as well as over 80% for both critics and audiences and Rotten Tomatoes. Great Metacritic score. And it's supposed to be a really fun story, fascinating story, and Egerton is supposed to be excellent in it. Although I agree, like I didn't even know it came out until it came out, and someone sent us a image of them watching on Apple TV. I was like, oh, is that out?
So basically, like if you don't see the headline, that's the problem. If you don't see the headline that it's released on a streaming platform, how do you know it's even out?
So that's why this is an example of why Apple TV is committing to releasing in theaters for the future now.
They should have dropped this one in theaters.
I would have seen this in a second. It looked like a lot of fun.
And also, apparently, Kingsman 3 is potentially on the table. Egerton also revealed in an interview that he's working on an idea with the filmmakers, and they're cooking something, and if they do get to make it, it would be the final film of Eggsy's franchise.
I would love to see him back because I really enjoyed him as Eggsy, especially in the first film. So if they can capture that magic again for a third one, I'll be there for sure.
Yeah, they're both solid.
Next up, Guy Ritchie and Henry Cavill have released another image of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Cavill has been posting a ton of stuff on his Instagram. Again, I can't wait to see this film. It looks like Guy Ritchie is in costume too.
Yeah, I think he's gonna play like the ship captain.
Oh, no way!
Probably just a cameo.
Yeah.
He's usually got some cameos in some of his films.
I love
think
that.
He has one in Game of Shadows that's really funny, and also King Arthur.
What's the Game of Shadows one?
He's the guy that is so he's in King Arthur.
Uh-huh.
He's the guy that owns the building.
Okay.
That they like want to scope. They want to snipe from the arrows. Game of Shadows. Maybe I was wrong about that one.
Yeah, we'll look it up. It's okay.
But yeah, anyways.
Love him. Love the guy.
Mubi, the film platform, has added over 50 Sony films over a content licensing deal this year just now. This includes movies like Close Encounters of a Third Kind, The Age of Innocence, Paprika, more films from directors like Wes Anderson, Guillermo del Toro, and other filmmakers. They now have over 900 movies and are adding a new film every single day.
I might get Mubi now because they've always had a pretty decent selection of films, but now this is a huge slate and a big library and a catalog of films to watch. So
they've been the platform that's had Decision to Leave all year.
Oh, okay, yeah. And they've had After Sun as well. So they've had a lot of great international releases on their platform this past couple of years. So yeah, I might get Mubi. I think it's pretty affordable too.
It's a Mubi.
It's a Mubi. Some Ari Aster news. Beau is Afraid is going to be playing in IMAX 1 week early. So the film is actually set to premiere April 21st in theaters around the country. However, IMAX is going to be doing a special early release starting on April 14th in New York and Los Angeles. You can see Beau is Afraid for that entire week before its traditional 21st runtime release. So I'm going to be there. You're going to be there.
For sure.
Ari Aster, IMAX. This is like, IMAX doesn't have to just be for large scale movies, big budgets, action films. You could give it to present a great filmmaker's vision like this on IMAX screens. I think that's a great future for IMAX to embrace filmmakers like Ari Aster.
Matt Damon news.
Matt Damon.
He was obviously at the premiere for Air, being interviewed about that, but also talked about Oppenheimer, calls it fantastic, says the 3-hour runtime flies by, and says Cillian Murphy is everything you ever wanted him to be.
And he looked like he was genuinely like, he was so happy about Cillian.
Yeah.
He was like, he was phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I am phenomenal.
Also, Air is getting great reviews.
Ben Affleck, baby.
And I've heard excellent things about that from people
guy.
who have seen it. So I can't wait to see that. And next up, The Equalizer 3 with our guy Denzel, and will take place in southern Italy.
Hell yeah.
It'll hit theaters this September, so I can't wait. I loved number 2. If you haven't seen number 2, Pedro Pascal is actually the villain. So it's a lot of fun.
That's right, yeah.
It was before he really blew up.
And that's cool because he's going to be in 2 movies back-to-back years that take place in Italy then.
What's the
Equalizer and then Gladiator 2.
Oh, yeah.
Even though Gladiator 2 probably won't film in Italy.
Yeah.
But it's going to take place in ancient Rome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Love it.
Final bit of news. Bill Skarsgård confirms he won't reprise his role as Pennywise in the Welcome to Derry HBO Max series. It's going to explore how the monster first arrived, Origins Pennywise, in the town featured in the Stephen King novel and the film's It Chapter 2.
I'm not surprised because from what I read, it was very difficult of a role for him to do physically with the makeup, with the prosthetics, and I'm sure it was just a hard several months of shooting each time. And I guess he doesn't want to put himself through that again.
Plus, he's a busy guy. He wants to do other things. He's just the villain in John Wick 4.
Yeah, and he did it in 2 movies, so I think he did it. I think for him, he's like, I did what I could with the character, and I don't want to go back to it. So I'm sure I would say it might be best to get an unknown actor to play Pennywise.
Someone who has great physical acting.
Yeah, so, but I was saying I really am only interested in seeing it if I see him as Pennywise. So, I don't know. Maybe the trailer will convince me.
We'll see, man.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, Pennywise is a shapeshifter, so
that's true.
You have some different looks.
That's true.
Get some different looks in there. All right, that wraps movie news this is like 93. This is crazy. There's a lot to talk about.
We got to do something for 100.
I know, right? Again, tomorrow's episode has been postponed to Tuesday, but it's going to be an awesome one. It's Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring movies from memory. We recount the whole film with no help.
And without having seen it
without
recently.
having seen it in like a year or so. It was a lot of fun. Thursday, we have special guest Soups on an episode, which was a 2.5 hour breakdown of everything about movies, TikTok, social media, and just like film in general and TV. And yeah, we got some cool news coming for you tomorrow. Don't miss out on our Instagram and TikTok. We are posting some cool ass content tomorrow. You're not going to miss it.
It's going to be great.
And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to y'all very soon.
See you next time.
Thank you for watching Raiders of the Lost podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well, notifications for sure. Listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere you can listen to podcasts, and be sure to check out this other content we have on our YouTube channel.